So I think, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, I'd like to introduce you to the Kennel Club Safe and Sound Scheme. Welcome to the Safe and Sound Scheme. Our naughty children are all teamed today are representatives of the Irisia Dog Training Club based in Shropshire. Now folks, don't be alarmed by anything you see in this display today, as all the scenes have been carefully rehearsed to highlight potential danger areas where dogs and children interact. And before we start, I would like to introduce you to our bite protection officers who are holding the red danger flags. Our officers will highlight any potential danger as it occurs. So now, let's start our demonstration at the greatest dog show in the world, Crufts. Today the children are all on a school trip to Crufts, and they've been given some free time to go and look around on their own, as you may be doing with your children here today. Some of the children have wandered around to the benching areas. That's where all the display dogs are kept in between displays. And contrary to the rules of Crufts, some of these dogs have been left unattended, tied up on the benches. Our children love dogs and they want to meet the dog. But look how they go about it. Dog is tied up, it's secured, it can't run away anywhere if it feels frightened or vulnerable, it can't hide, and the children are shouting at the dog, they're waving things in front of it, they're clapping, clicking their fingers, making lots of noises. Look how close they're getting their faces to these dogs. Stop. Children, we should never approach unattended dogs, and Crufts is no exception. If you'd like to meet a dog here today, what should you do? Well, that's right. We adopt what we call the safe and sound approach. That is that we ask permission from the owner to stroke the dog. And if the owner says yes, then we hold out the back of the hand, a loose fist, for the dog to sniff, so that it's confident we don't pose a threat and comfortable with us being that close. And then we can progress the stroking from there. That is the safe and sound approach. Well done, boys and girls. And having had a great day at Crufts, they return home and finish school. And they make their way towards the park. On their way to the park, they passed a fenced front garden. And in that garden, there are a couple of dogs minding their own business. The children have stopped just outside the garden to play and chat. And you know what children are like, folks? They're really, really noisy and really, really excited. And the dogs are becoming a little bit concerned about all the noise just outside the garden. They probably start to bark and growl. They're feeling very protective of their property. You need to work with me here. These dogs are really barking and growling. And the children have decided to play a teasing game. They've taken one of the group's mobile phone and they're playing catch with it. But oh dear, one of them seems to have butterfingers and the phone has gone over into the dog's garden. They're not going to want to tell mum or dad that they've lost their mobile phone. So how are you going to get that phone back, boys and girls? Well, they seem to have an idea about something. I see. They're going to poke a stick in through the garden fence to see if they can pull the phone towards them. But that's only making the dogs even more annoyed. Dogs don't like to be teased any more than we do. That's not work, boys and girls. What else can we do? Oh dear, stop right there. This is going to be a potentially dangerous situation. Because what they decided to do was to pick on one of the group to hoist them over the fence into the garden to go and collect the phone. But the dogs are already annoyed, they're already feeling very protective of their property, and they're more than likely to bite this child. And even worse, the child's totally isolated from any help and is likely to be bitten quite badly. What should we have done in the first place, boys and girls? Well, yes, that's right. We shouldn't have been playing by the garden anyway. We should have walked past, minding our own business, and that way we stay safe and sound. And if we do lose our property in the garden, we should go home and tell Mum and Dad. Well done, boys and girls. Now our children continue on their way to the park. But as the children get to the park gates, they notice a couple of dogs tied up to a post. They're all on their own. And our children, we know they love dogs already, and they feel sorry for these dogs being there on their own. Puppies and small dogs are often very attractive to children. And these children want to go and cuddle and stroke these dogs. And they've got their sweets out, they want to share their sweets with the dog. But again, look how they're doing it. They're down on their knees, they're crawling, they're very, very close to this dog, waving, clapping, they're teasing the dog with the sweets. And look, they're getting really, really close, and these dogs are getting really, really agitated. Stop. Children, we have already learned that we should never approach unattended dogs. What should we do if we'd like to meet these dogs? Well, fortunately, the handlers have come back. They've literally just nipped into the newsagent to buy a newspaper. And as they come back, the children are saying, "Can I stroke your dog, please?" And the dog handler's saying, "Yes, you may, but this is what I want you to do. I want you to hold out your hand so that my dog can sniff the back of your hand to ensure that it's comfortable with you being that close and confident that you don't pose a threat. And then gently start stroking my dog from there." This is that safe and sound approach that we looked at earlier. Well done, boys and girls. Finally, our children arrive in the park, where they meet all their friends, play lots of games, and they can eat their snacks and drink their drinks. Now, in parks and open spaces up and down the UK, the most common park users are children for play and recreation, and dog owners to exercise their dogs. And for most of the time, they get along with sharing the park quite well. But let's see what happens to our children when we receive unwelcome attention from a dog. That's right, we adopt what we call the safe and sound tree. That is that we drop everything we have in our hands, stand straight and still, fold our arms across our chest, head down, and we look and act boring, and we wait for the dog to go away. And as we saw with some of those dogs there, they were more interested in what the child had dropped rather than the child themselves. But if we adopt this tree, we all stay safe and sound. Well done, boys and girls. Now, you should never let your dog become a nuisance to others, and if you ever need help in controlling your dog, the Kennel Club Good Citizen Dog Scheme runs courses throughout the UK to help dog owners to teach their dogs to become socially acceptable. You can find out more details about the scheme from their stand in Hall 3 here today. But sometimes the tree isn't enough to keep us safe, so we're going to look at the children playing again. They're back in their groups playing ball, and this time they've been joined by some bigger children. Busy minding their own business, having a great game of catch. And let's see what happens now when our children receive continued attention from an over-exuberant dog. That's right, we adopt what we call the safe and sound stone. We drop everything we have in our hands. When we fall to the ground, we curl up like a ball on our fronts, face down, elbows tucked in, and we look and act boring. And again, wait for the dog to go away or for somebody to come and help us. Well done, boys and girls. And finally, our children arrive home. We're now going to show you a typical scene that could potentially cause bites. Here we have a scenario where the family have arrived home and the children are at the dining table having their supper. Mum's at the table with them, but she's engrossed in the newspaper, not paying much attention to the children. But notice the one child who is feeding the dog craftily under the table. I bet it happens in some of your homes, folks. But from feeding the dog under the table, the dog starts to become demanding. It's snatching at the child's hand, trying to snatch the food out of the hand. And this could progress even to the dog jumping up at the table and demanding the food from the child. A very potentially dangerous situation. So here we have situations where the dog's taken over and they're starting to take food off the child's plate. This is getting out of hand. Stop. Children. We've got an overexcited dog now and we don't know what to do. What should we do? That's right, we call for mum or dad, a responsible adult in the house, to come and help us. And on this occasion, mum's there at the table. Children have brought it to her attention that the dog's taking the food, so mum can calm the dog down, take it away from the food, and tell the children to stop feeding the dog from their own plate. Well done, boys and girls. And then we move on to the living room. Here we see the children in their living room playing games. We've got one child on the PlayStation, and those PlayStations, they make some very strange noises, lots of crashes and bangs that make the dogs jump and jerk, get a bit jittery. And we've got a child playing with an electric car. Let's see what happens when the car gets close to the dog. The dog jumps up, startled, it could have been asleep, and a car's run over it. It's probably going to be disorientated, it's probably going to feel threatened, and it's probably going to bite out. And look how close the child is to the dog. It's likely to be the child that's bitten. Children, stop. We shouldn't get the dog overexcited, should we? Our dogs are excited now. What should we do? You lot are getting louder. Right, that's right. Call for mum or dad, responsible adult in the house, who can come back in, calm the dog down, reassure the dog, tell the children they shouldn't be playing these games around the dog, and keep everybody safe and sound. But of course, we shouldn't have left the dog and the children all on their own together like that. Well done, boys and girls. Well, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, we're almost at the end of our very short demonstration on the Kennel Club Safe and Sound scheme. But before we leave you, we'd like to remind you of 3 very important points from our demonstration. And we'd like you to take these points back and teach them to your children or your grandchildren, nephews and nieces, in fact, anybody who has any contact with dogs. The first was that safe and sound approach. If you'd like to meet a dog, either here at Crufts today or anywhere in life, we should first ask permission from the owner. And if the owner says, yes, you can stroke my dog, we offer the dog the back of the hand to sniff, a loose fist, so that the dog is confident that we don't pose a threat and comfortable with us being that close. Next was the safe and sound tree. If we receive unwelcome attention from a dog, we adopt the safe and sound tree. Drop everything we have in our hands, stand straight and still, fold our arms across our shoulders, head down, and we look and act boring, wait for the dog to go away or for somebody to come and help us. And finally, if we are knocked to the ground, we adopt the safe and sound stone. Drop everything we have in our hands, curl up like a ball on our fronts, elbows in, face down, and again we act boring or wait for somebody to go away. Well done, dogs and handlers, children. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, we're almost at the end of our short demonstration. The Kennel Club are launching the Safe and Sound Kite Mark in April this year for children in Year 4. If you're a teacher here today and would like to know more about the scheme, you can visit us at Hall 3 at the Good Citizen Dog Scheme stand, or you can look on the website www.safeandsoundarounddog's.org.uk, and you and your child can also take part in the online Safety Factor Challenge to see if you can stay safe and sound around dogs. Remember, folks, never to leave a small child alone with a dog. It's been my pleasure to bring to you the Kennel Club Safe and Sound scheme.
and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the Safe and Sound crew. Absolutely fantastic display. I'm sure you'd agree with a very, very important message. If you want to know more, please do visit their stand up in the other hall.